A huge thanks to other YouTubers that reacted to my video. I think that was so cool.
Oh, who's that? PewDiePie. You drew every day for a whole year. Bro, okay, first of all, that's extremely impressive. Second of all, are you doing okay? Are you, like, mentally, are you okay? Are you in pain? Do you need therapy? Anyways, guys, welcome back. So I just saw this video on my feed and I was like, bro, we gotta have a look at it. I gotta watch this with the babies. We'll see what he's been up to because the last two videos have been super inspiring. To be honest with you guys, I'm really invested in this journey.
What's the progress? Was it worth it? I wanted to make a progression video and I picked art because I thought it was easy to track. Like, I'll draw for 30 days, I can show the first day and then I can compare it to the last day. And I did a 100-day one and people enjoyed it even more. There was no way I was gonna stop. I had to do at least a year. Yeah. And here we are. Being here, I have so many emotions. I am happy. Day one. A self-portrait. Like, okay, some are not terrible. This gives me confidence. Here's when I started to look up tutorials and stuff online. You think it'd be better, but they all kind of look like they have some sort of allergy. Chin is very big. I probably would have made it something more like...
Oh, that's way too small.
That's just simple change and it's already so much better.
This is just a great way to track your progress. Take one of your old pieces and see what you would do differently about it. Apply it and see if it actually makes it better. If it does make it better, you've progressed. If it doesn't, you've wasted your time, bro.
I realize... and maybe other people have said this too, but drawing is more about training your brain to see rather than actually technical with your hand. I think that's a misconception I had. So this is my progress after 82 days, 84. And I really think here's where I peaked in terms of if you wanted to just improve as much as possible in the shortest time. So let's check the progress from there on. First of all, don't do what I did. I just kept drawing the same things. Anime girl. Too much anime.
Come on. Nothing wrong with that.
Bad, just bad. I was trying to be technical and like give myself notes so I can improve. I wanted to be more consistent. I think that's why I kept doing this.
These are genuinely really solid sketches. You know, I think this is a great looking sketchbook page.
But if I had to redo it, absolutely not. And this is where I should have moved on to something else. I should have just drawn anything else. And
anime boys?
I did. But it takes so much time to do that and I really felt like I needed mileage more than anything. So just adding a little bit of color, sure. We'll ink it, but that's the most effort.
Stop. I had to pause right here just to see the glory of this drawing. This is beautiful, man.
Finally, I move on. I drew so much guys from anime because I thought I drew so many mangas. You probably recognize these. I think this is Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, this is a good time for me to address a couple things from my last video. And one of them is just a huge thanks to other YouTubers that reacted to my video. I think that was so cool.
Oh, who's that? Holy shit, dude, I'm famous. Oh my God, I did it. Okay, I can retire now.
But an insecurity of mine was brewing. Like if I wanted to draw anime style, sorry, it's hard to see here. You start with a circle, you draw a middle line, you draw where the eyes are gonna be. You kind of figure out how the chin is gonna be. This method is so helpful because when you draw, it's all about balance. Like if I drew directly, same thing, and anything is like out of proportion, the whole thing just kind of looks weird.
Yep.
So to draw directly, it was so difficult. So I bought this pen and I told myself I was gonna force myself to use this pen, even though it looks like shit. I was gonna really I'm gonna use this pen. I need to learn how to draw without the whole circle. It felt like taking 100 steps back, but that's how you have to improve. You know, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Eventually, I started to sort of get the hang of it.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Really quickly satisfying result with the high contrast. I really enjoyed. So I did some manga panels, and yeah, it feels like I'm looking at a manga. It's really cool. Getting more comfortable.
Wow.
It's still so hard with proportions, man. Like anything is slightly off, it's gonna suck.
Pretty sure I've mentioned this in some of my past videos, but if you tend to draw with guidelines all the time and you want to kind of test how much is actually in your mental library, taking away the guidelines is a good way to do that. If you're used to using guidelines on your faces and then you try to do the faces without them, the parts that look wonky are probably the parts that you're a little bit weaker on. Now, if you're a beginner intermediate artist and you don't really know how to do it, just freehand, don't worry, okay? This is not the end of the world because if you ask me to just completely freehand a face, I'm gonna mess it up like 30% of the time, okay? It's bad. It's very hard because our brains brains are so good at recognizing faces that even a tiny mistake, the smallest mistake, can just throw the entire thing off. And can we just talk about the line quality on some of these, man? That's fantastic. The dark and the lights, you know, the thin lines versus the thick and dark values.
But what I should have been doing is draw other things as well. I did find it amazing, like, how I could all of a sudden, even though I never practiced drawing a cloud, I could draw a cloud better than I ever could. But I think something finally sparked in me, where before I was like, okay, I just want to draw for the sake of drawing. I don't have any interest in anything. I started drawing manga panels. I started drawing perspective, and I wanted to understand these things. Finally, after, I don't know, 300 days of drawing, I picked up an art book.
Oh.
I should have done this ages ago. But I really enjoyed this one, Taco, because I enjoyed the style of it. Obviously, everyone has different preferences. I think if you were to be a professional artist, you probably want to pick like a human anatomy book and really study it. But for me, it's just supposed to be fun. And I think if I'm having fun, I will remain consistent. So
those are words to live by. If you want to be consistent, make sure you're having fun doing it. You shouldn't feel like you have to just grit your teeth and grind your way through the whole thing. You should be enjoying yourself along the way. And if you're not, find subject matters or practice methods that work better for you, that are more fun to you, because everyone's different. There's no one size fits all.
Again, this felt like taking so many steps back because I had no clue how to draw a body. Everyone was so amazed by my 101 that I felt like, okay, well, my year one has to be really good, right? Like, but progress isn't a straight line. Like,
yes.
I think I was being too hard on myself, where I was getting close to a year, and I'm like, I don't have anything to show for it. I drew a full body one.
That's sick.
The 80 to 1 is still better.
This is sick, man. Again, I feel like this is just PewDiePie being a little bit too hard on himself because the anatomy works, the colors look great.
So if you want to improve, you have to kind of go through the pain of sucking again, I guess.
True.
Because
True.
It really felt like, oh, cool, like I drew for this much and I don't have anything to show for it. It didn't matter to me. It was just a hobby. But now I'm like, I want to actually know, like, how do you draw legs? How do you draw different expressions?
Now, I'm sure we all get this feeling where we're trying something new and nothing's going right and you're just feeling very frustrated with the results. But a good way I like to think about it is that if you're feeling really frustrated with something, that means you probably subconsciously know how much better it could be. And once you break through that wall, once you get through that grind, you won't even recognize who you are anymore. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm an art god.
I was genuinely panicking. Not only because I wanted to show for the video, but I felt genuinely in me like, I can do more. I know I can do more.
See?
I know I can do better. And
See?
I really wanted that to show. So I really did push myself a lot towards the end here. And that's when I bought an iPad. Coming in clutch.
No, he's an iPad kid now. Well, I guess there's that. PewDiePie is now going to be a part of the art community forever because once you get into Procreate, you're never going to get out. It's a trap. This is crazy.
So I started off just sketching, and I was still too scared to draw bodies. I drew this, which I thought was going to be amazing.
Wow, that's sick.
And I ended up really hating it. So I practiced drawing hair, but it's just like nothing interesting about it. This is just to try it out. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to really wow you guys. I tried my best to draw the actual hands. This is going to be so good. And this is the end result. Genuinely hate looking at it. I've looked at it so much.
Come on.
It just pisses me off.
Come on.
Even now, I desperately try to draw something else because I don't know, like I felt like I could do more, but I kept drawing and I couldn't. Like it just came out looking weird and unsatisfying. This was supposed to be like the most simplest thing ever, like black high contrast. I drew a full body with perspective and I thought it came out pretty good. I was okay with this one, but I still felt like I could do more. So I sketched for a couple days. And I told myself I'm going to give one last effort. I have to really like it to actually sketch it. And this is the last thing I drew. I finished it yesterday, and I think I'm finally happy with it. I finally drew clothes that isn't just black.
Beautiful.
And I actually put some more time into the hair.
Wow.
Making small little details.
I like that.
I mean, the high contrast light. Maybe it's wrong, but
like that.
It's there at least. Let's compare. Day 1. Day 365.
Wow.
Maybe you guys disagree, but I feel like I finally beat my 80-day whatever This is still better. Oh.
Nah, I love that, man. I love that. Why do I feel like PewDiePie is just speed running this whole thing? You just started rendering in a month? I agree with him that this 80-day one's really good and it's really hard to beat. If you've been drawing for any period of time, you know that you're gonna have some of these pieces where something just clicked for you. Instead of comparing a single piece to another single piece, look at the entire body of work, right? And then that's where you see your progress. I think for somebody who just started doing this a year ago, this is a fantastic result. You know, moving through paper, getting to pen and ink, and then getting eventually to Procreate and digital drawing. Now, my only piece of advice here would just be to, you know, even though you have the iPad now, do not let go of the sketchbooks, okay? You gotta keep that there. I think there's genuinely no better way to learn how to draw than in a sketchbook, because you get that direct connection between the tip of your pencil and the paper. There's no digital smoothing on your lines. There's no undo button. You know, things are a little bit more unforgiving, and I think that's the best environment for you to develop the way you like to draw.
I genuinely cannot thank you guys enough for all the love and support with making these videos. It was such a massive encouragement for me to actually continue doing this. I'm the kind of person that love to try different things. I try new things all the time and I really enjoy doing that. But every once in a while, I find something that I really, really, really love and I will continue doing no matter what. And I think art might just be one of those things for me.
Yeah.
I loved drawing as a kid. And I don't know why I stopped, but I'm so happy to be back doing it. I wanted this whole thing also to be inspiring. I want other people to have this experience as well. People say that anyone can draw, and I truly believe that. And it goes for anything really. Like, it's about practice, constant practice, no matter what. It's not rocket science. You put in the work and you get a result for it, hopefully. Like I said, I love to do so many different things. Usually if I try something, people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Well, watch me do it 100 times better. And it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just beginner. But with me drawing, it was genuinely just everyone being encouraging, and I think that was just amazing, and I really appreciate that. So yes, thank you everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm so glad, I'm so happy that he's actually keeping this around. And I think like a very surprising number of people out there used to draw when they were younger. And for one reason or another, you know, you get to high school, you get to university, you just stop. We tell ourselves things like, oh, I don't have the time anymore. I'm not happy with what I make anymore. And I think PewDiePie is just a great example of it's never too late to pick something up again. You know, if you really love doing something when you were younger and you want to get into it again, it's never too late. He's 35. Look at the progress he made in a year. Now, just to kind of wrap this up, I want to give you guys some final advice on the kind of practice steps that he took throughout this video. So obviously PewDiePie does a lot of these like anime style portraits, and I especially love this one. That's so good. And these are great. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who actually start off their art journey by drawing stylized anime characters. One piece of advice that I think would really help you guys out is to try to draw realistic. You don't have to change your whole art style to be realistic, but just every once in a while, try to do a realistic study. No exaggeration of the proportions or anything like that. You're just studying what you see from a reference. You can do this kind of study with faces, bodies, hands, feet, whatever you like. But the purpose of that is so that you learn about the actual thing and how it really looks. As much as I love anime style, it is still a simplified version of what we see in real life. And as the old saying goes, you want to learn the rules before you break them. And this applies to absolutely everything. Anime style is essentially a very strategic breaking of the rules, simplifying of all the contours on your face. So I think if you have a really complete understanding of the parts that's being simplified in the style that you're drawing, it's actually going to offer you a lot more flexibility to be able to push that style and change that style to something that maybe you like. And this part where he does the ink drawings, I think is fantastic. I think we should all, as artists, have mandatory ink training because it's so unforgiving. You start to learn to live with the marks that you make. Educational art books are fantastic. Anything academic like anatomy, especially these Japanese ones, man. The Japanese don't play around. And I love these rendered pieces. Now, PewDiePie is obviously going for something that's a lot more stylized. I think a very good thing to do during this stage is to mix in some fundamental practice along with these kind of colored studies. And by fundamentals, when it comes to rendering like this, I just mean simple things like direction of light, how light casts shadows on surfaces, how there's form shadows on objects. And at this stage, it would also be a great time for you to start learning some of the more basic things about color theory, like analogous colors, for example, which are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So like orange and red, or complementary colors like yellow and purple. So many colors in here, but so harmonious. Why? Complementary colors. Orange, blue, yellow, purple, pink in this case, you know, but close enough. And there's another step actually that not too many people talk about, but I saw PewDiePie do a little bit of this in the video right here. grayscale. And drawing in grayscale just means you're drawing with no colors, okay? So everything is value-based. It takes out the complexity of colors and allows you to focus solely on brightness and darkness. So he's kind of doing that here because he's drawing like a manga panel. But if you're struggling with light, with understanding contrast and values, try to practice some grayscale drawings. It's gonna help you level up your art. And then you can add colors back in and boom! You're a god. Once again, a super inspiring video from PewDiePie, and I absolutely love this because he's gonna reach so many more people than myself and other art YouTubers ever could. And maybe he'll help spark that love for art again, from so many other people who also stopped drawing once they grew up. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys are just as inspired as I am. I absolutely love the progress that he's been making, and I'm happy to have him be a part of this art community now. I tried looking him up on Instagram. I don't think he has an Instagram account for his art yet. I feel like he should make one. Can we petition that? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to see more art content from my channel. I got tutorials and process videos over on my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Brother, can you believe this? I'm in one of his videos. This is me. See that? Do you see that? Oh my God, look at that. That's me.